Welcome back.
And here we are yet again.
We're back on the couch where it all began.
Do you want some of this blankie? It's freezing.
It is really cold out.
It's snowing. Oh.
Oop, 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 oop. Yeah, what a day it's been. I taught this morning and it was like first class we taught, and then all of a sudden, like right in between first to second class, it was like a winter tundra.
I saw, yeah. I was at the gym early and it was like just, you could tell that it snowed last night, and then I came home and then like an hour later it was like
white?
blizzarding again. Yeah.
And then I said, I was like, ladies, by the time we're done with class, there'll be no more snow. And you know what? By the time we were done with class, it stopped snowing. Yeah. For the 7 people that made it out.
They said there's a blob or something, an air blob. It's supposed to be a bad winter. Did you read this?
No.
There's a weather blob.
I don't know what the fuck a blob is.
I don't either, but supposedly it's going to be a bad winter here.
Honestly, I hope it just snows. I'm into snow. Like, if it's going to be cold, give me snow.
I'm into snow if it doesn't turn to slush and if it's sunny.
Okay, but like I still want snow. Like, don't give me -5 degrees and just be like fucking cold.
Yeah, that'll happen.
And then like on Christmas, like I want it to be a white Christmas.
I tell people this all the time. Like, it's colder here. Like, it gets way colder here for way longer. Like, we'll hit the negatives here for like 2 weeks straight. That doesn't happen in New York, but it's so gray. It's so
like
gray there.
Nice, like little blue skies.
Here, yeah. I mean, not that it doesn't get gray here, because it does, but it's definitely more sunny when it's cold here than it is in New York. It gets dark at 3:30 p.m. But like,
I mean, when it's like I'm like walking and it's 4:30 and I'm just like, oh wow, it's dark and this is depressing. That's why this weekend when I was doing nothing, I'm like, it's 5 o'clock and it's dark and I want to do something, but it's dark. Like, is it my bedtime? Inside. But then it's like, it's not my bedtime.
I know. A couple times this weekend I was like, it's 6:10. It feels like 9:45.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, like,
what am I
going to
do with the remainder of my day?
Yeah, like sit and watch TV or relax.
Yeah,
or
that's what I've been doing.
Same. I watched a lot of TV. Did you watch anything good?
I started watching the new season of Selling Sunset.
What do you think?
I fucking can't stand Chrishell.
But all of them have their own like.
They're all kind of annoying. It's all a little much. It's all a little much. You know who
my favorite is? Brie.
Oh, 100%.
Fucking love Brie.
I love that bitch and her whole thing. And you want to know what?
Also, have you seen what she used to look like?
Yes.
Totally different.
Helped her the fuck out.
But I'm like, you look good.
Yeah, she looks great. And she's a no-nonsense kind of bitch. And I'm down with it.
Same. She's my favorite.
And she might be the smartest person ever because she just gets like Hermes bags from Nick Cannon and like once in a while.
She's all about it. She's like, yeah. Like,
probably child support. And she's like, we'll never get divorced.
Like, I don't care.
She's fucking onto something, maybe. But yeah, no, I watched Selling Sunset. And you know what else I watched?
What?
The Kim Kardashian show.
What's that?
All's Fair. The Ryan.
Oh, it came up on my like, you should watch this.
So it got terrible fucking critic reviews. Got amazing fucking audience reviews and was like got the most streams for a first time television on Hulu in like 4 years.
There were some like good people in that. Like
great people.
Her,
Sarah Paulson.
Yeah.
Who else is, I forget the name of
when
those
I saw
other.
All the women
Tiana
on it,
Taylor's
I was
in
like,
it.
This is like a good lineup of people.
Yes, and like you want to know what it is? It's very camp. Like, okay, you know how like when I say camp, I mean like it's very, everything is extra. So like the clothing's extra, the storyline's extra, and everyone's like the critics were like the acting's cringe and the storyline is blah blah blah. But I'm like, you're an idiot because that's what he intended it to be.
Yeah,
and like I saw an article or something that was like, you know, someone must have asked Kim in an interview like how she felt because Rotten Tomatoes gave it like 0% day one, and then it's at like 5% now for like critic reviews.
Yeah,
and she basically was just like, we have like the most streaming views out of a show in Hulu in like 5 years, and like people love it.
I don't care. Yeah, I'm making money.
Yeah, so it wasn't meant to be this like groundbreaking like drama. I think it was meant to be this like very extra, very camp, very like women forward.
Listen,
like,
I think it's smart. I think Hulu knows what the fuck it's doing, and I'm saying that because of The Bachelor that's coming out, like Hulu, ABC, like they've brought a Salt Lake City Mormon wife there. Like they know what the fuck they're doing. They know how to get people to buy into something.
And like Sarah Paulson's been in a lot of like Ryan Murphy's the guy who directed it because he did American Horror Story and all that.
He's done a lot.
And American Crime Family or whatever that other spinoff is.
I think he also did like Glee and
and like Sarah Paulson's done a lot of really good shit too. So like these people didn't sign on to do this being like this is gonna flop. You know what I mean? Like I think it just. But yeah, that's.
I was wondering why on Hulu. I saw that. I was like, why was that on Hulu? Because I never really watch Hulu. But one of my bar students was like, you should watch Love Island Australia. And I was like, great. I really wanted. Okay, I was listening to. I'm going to backtrack. I was listening to Amy Poehler's podcast. And she had Kristen Wiig on it. And they were talking about how Kristen was like, I really don't watch a lot of like scripted television because I find myself being like, that's actually not Canada. Oh, they shot this at night because they can tell the light. Like things that we don't see, but they see. She's like, but I love reality TV because it's not scripted. It's like you're just watching people's lives and it's ridiculous. Like it's all ridiculous. So I was like, you know what? As I sat this weekend being like, I want to do nothing. I was like, let me put on some ridiculous, dumbass reality TV that I don't have to think about. So that's why I was on Hulu because I watched Love Island Australia and it's so dumb.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was looking for.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I'll watch Selling Sunset because even that show sometimes is fucking cringe, but
it's very cringe.
It does it for me sometimes.
But it's also like, listen.
Also, I really like to look at those houses and just be like, that'll never be me.
No. The houses are like, holy cow. Like
it's like next level. But then just sometimes I'm like, I would never need all this space. You know what I mean?
You might not need it, but
I
really
guess
nice.
if you have fuck you money, it doesn't matter.
Like the $20 million and you're like, this is nice.
And there's 10 bathrooms and I'm just like,
who's using these 10 bathrooms?
Who's using 4 of these bathrooms?
Yeah.
Just feels wrong. In this economy?
In this economy?
In this economy, we can't be having all these bathrooms. But yeah. Anyways, I'm in a acceptance phase of grief right now. Which, you know, I don't really want to speak to the situation because I also find that I am an oversharer.
Yeah, we all are.
And
I think when we put a mic up to our mouths, we kind of are oversharing, period.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just like not a situation that I'm ready to like discuss. And it's not like I'm not dying or anything. Like, you know, and this is the struggle that I've been having all weekend is like I've just been feeling my fucking heat just kicked on because it's an ice cube in here. Yeah. So sorry if it startled you. I've been grappling with this all weekend. I had a thing happen on Friday that we kind of talked about last week that I anticipated coming on Friday. And I think because I spent the week mentally prepping for turmoil, I thought it was going to like hit a little less hard, and it didn't really. And so like I kind of spent the weekend on this like swing of emotions where like 1 minute I'm like there are bigger fucking problems in the world and like you are a bad bitch and bad bitches don't sulk. Like one of my best friends said that to me. She was like, bitch, she's like, you don't sulk. Like what's going, like get it together, like take your day and move the fuck on. And like, so I would get in that mode where I just would be like, that's right, I am a bad bitch, I don't sulk, like whatever. And like there are bigger problems and blah, blah, blah. And then I would swing to the absolute other side of the spectrum and be like, I'm having a depressive episode and I feel like a worm now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like what I kind of wanted to just like get into a little bit today is like, I would think most people would argue that they're overthinkers. Maybe not everybody, but like overthinking and then self-sabotaging and like what that looks like and how to kind of avoid ending up in that situation.
The biggest thing is like we are very hard on ourselves, and you are especially like to even have your friend be like, you're a bad bitch, like you're great, you're like sulk and move on. It's like, maybe you needed an extra day to like sulk.
And I did. You know what? Like I told myself like, so I had a thing happen on Friday and I thought I was mentally prepped for it. So the rest of the day kind of just was like, whatever. Like I was bummed, but like that was that. And then Saturday, I was like mentally like, I'm going to go. So I taught 2 classes on Saturday morning. I had a private that I taught at 8:30. Then I taught at my 9:45. And then we have a new girl starting who was doing a community ride. It's like our audition-y type thing. Not audition, but like just, you know.
Getting them comfortable.
Yeah, in front of people. It's a free class. We offer it for people, so it usually fills. And that was at 11. My class ended at 10:30, and I was helping her get people set up on bikes, and I wasn't going to stay because you and I had plans. And then we decided to move those plans, and then I was like, fuck it, like, I'm already here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, I was at the cycle studio from 7:30 until
12:30?
noon. Yeah, 12:30. And I hadn't eaten, and I was like, I need a fucking calorie. And, like, when I got home and I was done distracting myself, it just, like, hit. And I was like, you know what? Today, I'm just going to take the day to sulk. And today's going to be my day. And tomorrow morning, I'm going to get over it, and I'm going to fucking get back to my shit. And that's what I did on Saturday. And then Sunday morning hit, and I was like, I'm not ready.
But, like, you don't, like, that's what I mean is, like, we give ourselves, like, one, it's not only, like, this happened. When we go back to overthinking, like, you're overthinking why it happened and what happened and, like, what if I had done this, would that not have happened, whatever it is. Like, you're literally overthinking the entire situation, and then you're adding pressure to yourself to be like, get over it, like, move on.
Yeah.
Like, I texted you and I was like, mental health check, how we do? And you're like, I'm just really fucking bummed.
Yeah.
And that is, like, not an easy emotion to be like, all right, I'm going to get up back on my horse and just be like, I'm fine today.
Yeah.
Like, the feeling of feeling bummed and being disappointed is, like, really hard to just be like, I'm over it, I'm done, like, let's move on.
Yeah.
And we're not supposed to. But because we're also, like, doers and we just, like, okay, like, we got to get on to the next thing. And we don't really, to your point of, like, I distracted myself all morning, that's a lot easier to just distract yourself than to sit with the emotion of feeling bummed and disappointed.
Yeah, and that's how I felt on Saturday. Like, I was like, I'm just going to sit in this. We also had somebody, did you see we had last week's episode and we snipped some clips from it, and there was a reel that we posted of being like, me being like, what can you do? And you were like, sometimes you got to ruminate in the stress. Somebody commented back on that and was like, I think this was on TikTok, and they were like, but, like, ruminating in the stress takes time away from, like, being able to move forward, or I forget exactly, like, she was basically challenging our, like, I disagree with you that it's a good idea to ruminate in the stress theory. And to that point, I get where that person's coming from, but at the same time, I've lived and learned enough to know that, like, if you don't sit with that, let it hurt, let it be uncomfortable feeling, I don't think you're actually processing what's going on to then move on from it.
So I had therapy last week, and because we both struggle with eating disorders, it's like a displacement of your emotions and feelings. It's like, what can I control? You can control what you do. You can control what food you're eating, whatever. Your emotions are very hard to control. Mm-hmm. So when you can distract yourself from emotions, whether that's utilizing food or utilizing busyness, whatever it is, it's like a displacement of your emotions and how you're feeling. So for us, sitting with our emotions or, like, ruminating in our emotions is something we have to do because otherwise we're not feeling.
Right.
I literally sat on Tuesday with my therapist, and I was talking about something, and, you know, I went into therapy and I was like, life's good, like, Darius and I are good, I'm good, like, blah, blah, whatever. And of course, those are the ones where, like, it's like groundbreaking things that happen. And she was like,
and people don't talk about that enough. People don't talk about what it's like to be scheduled for regular therapy, and, like, in an hour that session's gonna come and you're like, man, I really don't want to fucking do this because, like, I'm in a good mood today, I really don't have anything to talk about, like, I'm not interested in fucking participating. And then it's like, I signed myself up for this, and then you get there and you start the session and you're like, yeah, my week was fine, like, I don't know. And then by the end of it, you go down some, like,
you're like, wait, I'm not okay,
fucking, like, emotional thing. And then you're like, yeah, you know, sometimes you feel worse, but sometimes you feel better. But, like, people don't talk about that enough. Like, there's a lot to be said about
therapizing.
Us bi-weekly therapy girlies that are like, for fuck's sake, like, no, I don't want to do, like, I'm already having a good day. Like, I'm not looking to feel turmoil.
No, so I went in there being like, things are great, like, da-da-da. And she asked me, like, one question about, like, well, how do you feel about it? And I was like, well, I think, like, and she's like, no. How do you feel? And
you know what's funny is Layla told me that I do a lot of,
I think,
or, like, I say, like, I intellectualize my feelings out loud. And she's like, you say you feel, but then what follows is an intellectualized concept of what your feelings actually 100%. Are.
And you know what is interesting? She was asking me, like, do you know an emotion that you feel or something like that? And I was like, I think what's really interesting is I distract myself a lot because I was talking about, like, this weekend Darius was going to be gone and I wanted to just relax. I was like, but it's really hard for me to do nothing and relax. And so I said something along the lines of, because I'll have the TV on, my phone will be out, and my computer will be on. So I'm like online shopping, scrolling through TikTok, and then like also watching TV. And she's like, can we not have all of that? And can you just watch TV? Like she wasn't even like turn all the screens off and like sit with your, she's like, can you just watch TV? And so we were talking about emotions, and I was like, you know, what's interesting is the one emotion that I can definitely feel and seek out, yet I continue to do it to myself, is like I'll scroll on TikTok or Instagram and I'll feel like jealousy or envy.
Yeah.
And I feel that, yet I sit in it and I do it more. And so I said something like, we were talking about something, another scenario, and she's like, well, how does that make you feel? And I was like, I don't know. So she literally brought out a feeling wheel, like sent me it via text so that I could look at it. And she's like, and look at the emotions and be like, how do you feel? And we were talking about me just sitting watching TV and not having my phone, not having my computer. She's like, how does that make you feel? And my stomach was churning. I was like, I don't know. It just makes me feel uncomfortable that I'm not distracting myself with a million things, and I have to sit with. It's not even like I'm anxious or mad or upset or disappointed or whatever. It's like it's uncomfortable to sit with my own feelings. So I think to the point of like being like, I'm feeling bummed and disappointed, that's not a negative, but it's like a more negative emotion than it is to be like, I'm happy and excited and whatever. But to feel like I need to sit with that is like, no, of course you want to be distracted and do a million other things. But for people who don't necessarily sit with their emotions, being able to sit and feel sad, I also think is going to allow you to be able to sit and feel joy and happiness and excitement and all of those things that like we don't necessarily always sit with because we distract ourselves with other things.
And and again, like, you know, I was talking to Layla because she's the angel sent from heaven that just like shows up whenever I need her without me even asking. And this was like prior, because, you know, I had like anxiety all week and I had this like gut feeling and I just like whatever.
Yeah.
And she reached out just to be like, you know, because I had said my therapist is that bitch is booked all the time, which, you know, good for her. But she was like, I know, like, I can't replace your therapist, but like, I'm here if you need to, whatever. And I was just like, you know, thanks. And then she probed me a little to kind of like give her something. And I'm sure as many people was feeling prior to the actual situation, I was feeling like, I don't know, and I think I said this last week, that I could handle one more thing. Like, I don't know that I could handle one more thing, and not that my life is terrible, and like, that's not what I'm saying, and I don't know why I feel like I need to like reinforce that notion, but like, it's just the better part of like the last 6 months have just been a little heavy for me, and I'm actively working on like not internalizing or having visceral reactions to other people's stuff, and kind of just focusing on mine. And I have spent a lot of energy in the last however many months on other people's things. So now that like I have a thing and it's mine that I need to deal with and feel and whatever, I just was like, I don't know that I can handle another thing. And I fear that like it'll be catastrophic to my mental health. Like I feel like, I think I said something like, I think it'll send me to like another orbit. And she texted me back, and in the moment, I was like, no, I agree with you, but I don't think I could really resonate with what she was saying until like the last 24 hours. But she just was like, why? And I think this comes with the self-sabotaging piece too that we all tend to do without even like realizing that we're doing it. But she was like, why are you giving this thing so much power? Like, no matter the outcome of this situation, it should not have like the gravity to like shift your well-being the way that you're claiming it's going to shift your well-being. Like, it doesn't mean that the things don't suck and that they're not bad or that they're whatever. But like, when you give power to something with that big of a magnitude to like let it control your well-being, you have to take a step back and like take control of that power, or else you're just like, well, fuck it, I'm doomed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she said it to me, and I was like, you know, yeah, I agree. But then it was like, I just was in a weird headspace, and I like couldn't really process that until the last couple of days, where I've just kind of been like,
because I don't think that when you're in the depths of it that you could be like, yeah, I'm not giving it that much power. Like, you're just like, as beings who feel, who emote, like, you can't always see it like that, because you do have to go through the grieving process. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And your process is different to get to a point now where you're like, wow, I did give it a lot of power. But at the same time, like, it is a big part of your life. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
To feel like you're on this emotional roller coaster of things, it's not as easy to just be like, all right, like, I take my power back, and sometimes I'm like, I can't do that. Like, you took my power, and I know I need to get it back, but like, I also need a few days, because I'm also like the type of person, and we both are, like, you felt like shit, but you got up in front of 40 people and taught 2 classes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's something where you're like, my energy is actually tanked, but now I have to go give energy to everybody else right now. Mm-hmm. And that is something where you're like, I took my power back, but that's also a distraction. Like, sometimes you do have to allow yourself to, like, all right, it did really rock my world. It sucks. And now I'm going to move forward and pick myself up and do whatever else, you know?
Yeah. I think it's just funny as a person who struggles, like, with things of control, you know, that, like, I stress so much about not having control of situations and outcomes and things. But then when it's time to be in control, I can't, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, like, the situation is out of my control. The outcome is out of my control. A lot of these things are out of my control. But what's in my control is to, like, take power over that so that it doesn't, like, sway my emotional stability. And it's like, I sit here and I'm like, why can't I do that? Like, I'm so good at being in control of situations and things that go on elsewhere, but I can't.
I think that's like the same thing of like, I can tell all these people, like, this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
But like, you don't necessarily think of it yourself. It's interesting because I'm at a point where I'm like very burnt out, and I'm like, my candle is out. Like, I did take this weekend to recharge, but like, my candle is like very lightly burning right now. And I am at a point where I'm like, I need to refuel, recharge. And I don't really know how to do that right now, but I'm like, I just know that I'm feeling a burnt out feeling. And I think a lot of people can relate to it because right now there's just a lot of things going on. We're getting into getting into the holidays, we're getting into the end of the year. There's just like, you're kind of running on empty, and that's like not the best place to be. Mm-hmm. And I think that when situations come and you're at this point, it's a lot easier to like tell people that like, this is what you should do, but then to do it yourself is like, I can't. Like, I'm not there.
Yeah.
And I need to process the way that I process it. And I think there's also that pressure of us want to control our own lives. Like, we want to control our own emotions. We want to control, like, we come off as happy people, and like, you know, you're a little
more
edgier
dark
than me. But like, you know what I mean? Like, we come off as like, we've got energy and we're this. And like, sometimes I would think like when people are like, what's wrong? And I'm like, oh my God, like they're not only saying like, tell me how you're feeling, but they're also like, something's wrong with you because you're not the normal happy person that you normally are.
But that's also like having to also be able to move forward in the way that you are with whatever you're going through unapologetically is like also a really hard thing to do without 100%. Feeling like you need to. And so this is why I also decided that like, whatever it is that I'm going through, like, is something that I'm just going to keep and hold for me right now, because like, I am that person that like, the second somebody says, well, how is blah, 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 or like, how's this, or how's that, or whatever, I'm like ready to be like, well, this happened. And then I need to back it up, and I need to give it 900 reasons why it's okay. You know what I mean? Like, I have to like out loud, like, validate myself to somebody else who like did not sign up for that conversation. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm kind of just like, I'm kind of in that phase where I'm just like, if somebody were to say something, I'd just be like, everything's good. You know, just to like,
I think
to
also,
not feel like I have to be like, well, this happened and like, it happened because of this. And like, here's my plan going forward. And honestly, blah, blah, blah. You know, like, I feel like I over explain to people sometimes because I'm trying to be like, you're right, I am a bad bitch and this thing shouldn't have happened to me. And like, here's how I want you to know that I'm dealing with it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a weak bitch. I want you to know.
Right.
You know what I mean? But then sometimes that just like, what is that doing to my like self-confidence if I have to constantly on the outside be like...
Well, and I think too, you're like, I just told her I'm a bad bitch. And then if you don't live up to that bad bitch thing in the timeline that you said you were going to be that bad, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Then you're like, it almost makes you feel worse about yourself because you're portraying, I've got it all together. but like we don't have it all together. And I think that stems too from like the fact that like we're constantly moving forward, and we constantly have to be told that we're moving forward, and then we have to tell people that we're moving forward. And then when you don't take 5 steps forward, people are like, well, why? Like, what's going on? Like, it's funny
and then
because...
it's like you don't take 5 steps forward, and then that's when you decide to draw the boundary. And people are like, wait a minute, what do you mean? You let me in? I was privy to this whole story of what's going on with you, and now you're drawing a boundary? And then it's like, that's weird.
But it's also like, that's what I think in a society like we thrive on, is like, in a way, speaking to reality shows or whatever. And even my mom was talking about like the podcast and whatever. She's like, you guys need more schmaltz, is what she said. Like, more like bad shit. Like how people really thrived on my roommate's story. Like that they loved that I went through turmoil. Like it was a good story. And she's like, you guys need to share more of that. And I'm like, but then people are just like, we're all so fixated on the drama and the problems of other people's lives, because we also don't want to like deal with the shit that goes on in our lives. So we're like, we're fixated, or we're listening to everybody else's stuff. Do you know what I mean by that? So then like we pretend like everything's great when it's really not at times.
Yeah, and it just, at the same time too, like, you know, there's a lot of things that I could say on this podcast.
Same.
There is a lot of things that are juicy stories, that is like information about me that I'm sure people who have known me in my past would love to know. Stories about unanswered stories about relationships, or like whatever it may be. I can guarantee you that I could have a screen audience, at least of people that have known me in my past, that would like really thrive on like hearing that. But at some point it's like, you also want to protect your own and other people's peace too. And so like, that's why like I'm happy to be vulnerable. I'm happy to like be very forthcoming and like not shed like a glittery light on something that's not. And I'm happy to like divulge my struggles and my eating disorder things, and like there's a lot of things that I'm happy to share. But at the same time, there are some things that I have to protect myself, and just like keep the peace of people that I either care about today or I cared about at some point in my life. You know what I mean? So
I think there's a big part of sharing what goes on in your life is that it's your life. It is your life.
Yeah.
But you also interact and have a lot of things that affect a lot of other people. And so it's not just you like anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not just, if I say I like this, whatever it is, or this is what's going on in my life and this is blah, 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 blah. There's other people that are affected in that. Like when I talk about like, okay, this weekend I didn't do anything and like, this is what my emotions are, that's me. I'm dealing with that. But if I say this situation happened, there's other people that are involved. Do you know what I mean by that? Like it's not just you anymore. And I think that that's a big part of like sharing and everything, is like, there is a part that we have to protect our own peace. That is part of us too. Like, well, your situation is like you. It is you processing this situation. There are, of course, other people involved, but like, it is really how you are processing. But you got to protect yourself at some cost, you know? Like, it's not, we can't just sit here and spill everything, because then like, what is there left for like sacred to you? Yeah.
And I kind of identify myself as somebody who, you know, I always say like, I hate small talk. Like, I don't want to small talk with anybody. Like, I want you to tell me something about you that's like, I joke around and say like your darkest childhood trauma and like why that made you the person you are today. But that's just like, I just like want to know people on like people that I want to know. I want to know on like such an emotionally deeper level than that. But with that being said, at the same time, it's like, I think that's where people struggle in the limelight. It's deciding like what to give away and what to keep. Because the whole intention of us even doing this to begin with was to be able to give a space for people who are just normal gals like you and I, who either want to build a project or aspire to be an entrepreneur or care about fitness or just like girly pop things or whatever, and a space for you to come and you can listen to like how we struggle about the same shit that you're struggling about, and it makes it comfortable and like,
and it's zero bullshit,
and it's and there's no like pretending, and like we're not, you know, going along with the times and just saying things to say them, but it just, you would hope that the general population would also appreciate that like there are just things. And then at the same time, I'm like, what kind of people would we be if we just came here and we showed up and we talked about all of our darkest shit just to get views?
Depressing.
Well, we'd be depressing. Yeah, like a more, you know, our regular depression's already clashing with our seasonal depression right now. But like, what kind of people would we be if we just...
I think there's also a sense of like ruthlessness. Like last night I was at dinner with my family and I was saying how my mom was saying that I should like air our dirty laundry essentially. Yeah. And my sisters looked at me and were like, no. Yeah. And I was like, you're right, because it's not just me. It's them. It's my nephews. It's my brother-in-laws. It's my parents. It's my cousins. It's like everything. It's not just me. Even same with like I do share a lot about Darius and I and our relationship, but there's also a fine line of like, I'm not sharing with you like our deepest, darkest secrets or like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like there is some sacredness and some things that like you have to hold true to you. Like there is a sense of getting on a mic and being like, this is kind of therapy. Like I am sharing a lot. Like I was talking to my therapist about, you know, how my feeling, my thoughts, my whatever, and it is healing to get on here and just be like share a little bit about it, because it's like, who else do you tell? You tell your therapist. Mm-hmm. And then when you tell your friends, it's like kind of depressing sometimes, you know? Yeah. Sometimes it can be just a little bit of like, all right, this is like a little depressing, a little, you know?
Well, and I also think too, your mom's probably like, go ahead, tell everybody, because I think she's made peace with your family things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like for her, she's like, whatever, you know, say what you got to say.
Yeah.
You know, but I think there's just people that are probably involved in that situation, like you said, that feel differently. So it all, I don't know. I think sometimes I try to be vulnerable, and then sometimes I'm like, I should have like reeled that in and let myself process that before I like put it out into the universe. And so like, it's drawing boundaries. It's not the self-sabotaging. And like, you know what? You could argue that I was self-sabotaging all week last week, but again, like I am just the girly that when I get a gut feeling, I'm rarely wrong. I feel like most women are like that. Like I just like when you know something.
I also feel like you just like, there's a pressure too. If you were to share everything too, you'd be like, all right, now I have to be over it because I just, you know what I mean by that? And it's like, you don't have to. And that's the thing. I think society puts this like not, I don't know if pressure is the right word, but like to be like, you can't be sad. Like you need to move on and move forward because you're strong and you're capable and you're beautiful and like blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, but like, what if I just like want to be sad?
And like, sometimes I'll either like post something on social media or like I'll say something to my class or like whatever. And I'm like, last week or 2 weeks ago, I was just saying how I was like mentally unwell. Like these people probably think I'm fucking crazy. Like how many times am I going to say that like, and it's like, I'm saying it because I'm trying to like give it space for other people to relate. And I'm saying it because like, yeah, my mental health isn't always as like great as it needs or as it should be, but like that's how I get. I'm like, is this redundant? Like should I shut the fuck up about? And like the fact that I even make myself feel that way to begin with is like the fact that I even had to talk about this to the few people that I talked about it with and I had to follow it up with, I know there are bigger problems in life. Like why do I even feel the need to clarify that? Because for me right now, this is a big problem that's happening in my life. It's not a big, but it's like, it's not a small thing. It is my like headlining news issue. You know what I mean?
I think though, there's a lot of things, especially our limelight is this. Do you know what I mean? Like being in our limelight, whatever. It's like, I know it's not that big of a deal because there's people like there's people dying and going hungry and like blah, and it's like, okay, there is. That is very true and very valid. And your problem may not be that grave, but it is serious and it is something that is affecting you and your mental health, so it is valid and it is like, it's your truth right now. And I think that a lot of times like we feel like we have to justify how we're feeling,
like we have to scale it like on a scale of like minor inconvenience to the biggest catastrophic event that's ever happened in the history of man. Where does your item fall? And then you feel like you have to fit it in a place that's like appropriate, even though your feelings and your insides are telling you otherwise.
Yeah.
Because right now it could be like on an emotional level as heavy as the heaviest thing, you know?
Yeah.
But we're trying to be like, where appropriately can I put this problem that I'm having that's not gonna piss other people off, offend somebody, make me sound like a whiny ass bitch? You know what I mean? Like, that's just like,
because you're thinking about everybody else but just yourself.
yeah.
Like, and I think that's the thing too, is like why it's so hard in our social media world, in the world of teaching, and like all of this is like, when my therapist said to me, "How are you feeling?" I literally couldn't even put it in a circle of like, this is how I feel, because I was like, I'm so not in tune with my own emotions, because I think about how other people perceive it, how my students are going to feel about X, Y, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just, I can't just sit and be like, this is how I'm feeling right now.
yeah.
Like, even in a joyous moment, like, I'm feeling happy, I'm feeling excited, I'm feeling da-da-da. Like, she was like, look on the wheel, what does it make you feel? I was like, I think it makes, she's like, wow, you're really not connected. And I'm like, I'm not. I'm like, I'm really not connected. I'm so disconnected from how I feel because I'm so worried about how other people think I feel, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's such a weird... It's weird because I said like, when you're born, you're not born with these external things, and she's like, you're not born. She goes, you are born being like, okay, this is how I feel, whatever. But then you're brought up however you're brought up, and you're told certain things, you know, like, not that your parents ever were like, you should have an eating disorder, but your environment, whatever it was, turned into, okay, I need to control something because I feel so out of control. I'm going to control what's going in my body or how it exits my body, whatever it is. And it's like, you weren't even told how to deal with your emotions. Like, I was 16 and I was talking about something, and my therapist said, I think you have anxiety. And I went home and we laughed about it. Like, I could never have anxiety.
Yeah.
But so at the age of 16 still, I was told, that's a fucking stupid emotion. You don't have that.
Well, and also at that age too, like, the perception of anxiety also wasn't a spectrum. It was like, back then, I feel like when we were teenagers like that, if you said you had anxiety, you had to like carry this flag that you were like, I have like a clinical diagnosis for a mental health problem.
Right.
Like, it couldn't be what anxiety, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like, no, you could never, because you weren't a person that had those kind of problems.
Well, and we are like at that age where like it is becoming normal to seek therapy or be on antidepressants or, you know, have these type of emotions, but we're kind of that first generation that it is okay, whereas like it was just becoming okay as we grew up, you know? It wasn't like this thing of acceptance, you know, in our parents' generation or whatever, because if you think about the 50s or whatever, when it was like the woman was the housewife, the man was there was no like, sexuality was different, like everything was so different, and now we're getting into really being able to express yourself in whatever way that means. But I think we still have problems being like, those like sadder negative emotions are still a little bit tougher.
Well, also because exactly as you're saying, like, you know, back then women were like barefoot and naked and pregnant, or whatever they say about women who stayed at home, and they were meant to be like these light, like nurturing, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And now we're in this society where we're like, fuck that entire like image for women. We are these like powerful forces and all these things, which is absolutely true. But then it's like, you kind of associate the softer with that version of the woman that like we're not supposed to be like anymore. So you're like, no. Like, I can figure this out. I'll figure this out. Like, we're women, you know? Like, you don't understand what we do as women, what we're capable of. Like, there's like, so it's a positive thing that people are looking at us like that now versus like barefoot Betty. But it is a lot of like, it makes you feel like you can't be both. You cannot be this like soft creature with emotions that like has her moments and whatever, and also be this powerhouse.
And I think I think a lot of it too stems from that pressure you put on yourself. And I think the goodness of the people around us being like, you're strong, you're capable, you can do this, is like, I know I'm strong and capable, I can do this, but I'm also soft and emotional and a little bit broken. You know, and I think there's that, when you are upset or sad, people don't always know how to allow that person to be disappointed, sad, broken. Like they want to automatically pick the pieces up and put it back together.
Yeah.
And I think that comes from that nurturing, caring side of women, of men, of whatever. But it's like, it's not as easy to just allow and see someone who is sad and allow them to be that way. Because you're automatically like, let me come in and help you.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm actually not asking for help. I just want to allow myself to be a little bit broken right now.
Yeah.
You know, but that's like not easy. It's not easy to watch anybody be sad. And you're like, okay, what can I do to help? Like, I think I asked you 12 times, like, can I do anything?
You're like,
can I do anything? Can I get you anything? Can I whatever? And it's like, no, but like, thanks for checking in, you know, because it's like,
and that's all people, you know, and I've had the few handful of people that are in tune with what's going on with me have all, you know, what can I do? And it's like, I've said it every time. I'm like, there's nothing to be done. Like, it's not, I appreciate you looking out, but there's nothing.
And also you're like, okay, now I've got the pressure of like picking myself back up at a certain point, even though you don't have to be picked up, you know, but you're like to that point of like, I'm a bad bitch, I'm strong, I'm this, I'm that, whatever. It's like, now I'm putting the pieces back together and I'm picked up and I'm great, let's go. And it's like, no, you're not. Like, it's okay.
That's why I say I think I'm in like the acceptance stage of grief, because like I still feel grief. I had a shower floor cry after my 5 hours of taking and teaching cycle. I had a couch rot day where I just like felt really uncomfortable with the way that I was feeling, but it just like I let it be. And the reality of the situation doesn't suck any less. I think I'm just like, okay, like I processed that. And granted, like 48 hours isn't a long time, and I'm sure I didn't process the whole thing, but like I'm just in this acceptance point where I'm just like, it is what it is. And this is what I kind of said leading up to it.
Do you want to look at my emotion wheel so you can see how you're feeling?
No, I have an emotion wheel. Have you seen the one where it's like, this is something that you're feeling, but it actually means this?
No, the wheel I have is, it's a, let me see, Alyssa. Now we all know my therapist's name. It's like, you pick the center of like, you're angry, are you let down, humiliated, bitter, mad, aggressive, frustrated, distant, or critical? And then you go even further to, are you betrayed, resentful, disrespected, ridiculed, indignant, violated? You know, like you keep going and you like keep going down that. Mm-hmm. It was just interesting because I was like, I don't even fucking know from the biggest circle what to pick from. Like, I don't know. Right now, I guess I'm like fine. Yeah. But what is fine? You know what I mean? Like, that's not even a thing on the the wheel.
I think that's going to be my goal for the foreseeable future. I was going to say for the new year, but like I'm always that person that's like, why are we waiting until January 1st? It's weird.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to try and pay attention more to how I'm feeling about things. And if I can't define whatever the feeling is, I think I'm going to start making notes of like physical things, like how does my chest feel? How does the rest of my body feel? Where are my shoulders right now? Are they in my fucking ears? Like,
yeah,
like things like that are at least like tangible, to just like bring some awareness to what's going on. Because I swear to God, like I can't tell you how I'm feeling until I'm feeling bad.
Same. Well, so what's interesting,
until I'm like, I had the chest fluttering and I got anxiety and like I can't get out and I just need it to be over, and like that is the only time. But I can't sit here and tell you that like.
But I can tell you sometimes like how things make me feel, but I'm so nervous about how it's going to affect the other person that I sometimes just like shove it down. I'm like, I'm fine. Do you know what I mean by that? Because I'm so nervous about how my feelings are going to make someone else feel, even though my feelings should be my feelings and they're okay and they're valid and whatever. And sometimes feelings can be like not stupid, but like, you know, like it could be like irrational feelings.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean is this weekend, my therapist was like, I really want you to try to do nothing. And she's like, and I want you to feel how that feels. Mm-hmm. And there was a point, I got my hair done. I did a class in the morning. I didn't have anything to do. We were going to record, but we didn't record. And then I got my hair done. And then I got home and I was like, I should do something. Like, it's 5 o'clock. I should go, like, to dinner, or I should go out, or, like, whatever. And it was dark. It was rainy. But I still felt this pressure to, like, go do. And I don't think it was that I actually wanted to physically do something. I just think it was the fact that I wanted to distract myself from feeling uncomfortable from not doing anything.
Yeah, and then the thing is that my issue, I'm better now that I've like acknowledged it and I've kind of been working on it, but same thing, like if I was here by myself and like I just was trying to watch TV, I'm not dicking around on my phone. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm not dicking around on my phone. And it's funny, you know, Thomas pays attention to me and my phone, probably because that guy, like I've said before, could not have a cell phone and be just fine with life. He said, what were we fucking watching the other day? I forget, we were watching something. And he said something like, I could tell you were really interested in the show because you didn't look at your phone like at all. And I was like, holy shit, like, am I really like that? And it is. It's like I need like a constant like stimulus. But I've tried, like, I have to pay attention to it now more when I'm like watching TV because that is like a mindless activity that like should be mindless and whatever. But you get this like sense of, my problem was like, I just got this sense of guilt that like if I gave myself any downtime to like not do anything, that like, what else should I be doing? The person who has everything that they've ever wanted in life, they're not sitting still right now doing nothing. They're fucking hustling and like adding another thing or like perfecting a thing. And it's like, I get this like, I feel like a waste because I'm just sitting here.
It's a guilt. It's like an inner guilt of like, why am I doing nothing?
Yes.
Like, I should be doing something, even though you've got everybody else being like, you don't not do anything.
Yeah.
But you're like, I know. And then you're like, okay, well then I should keep doing it. You know?
Yeah.
Like it's a really weird balance. And I think it's a learning to let go of the control and the need to do something at all times. But it's a lot easier to just say it out loud than it is to actually do it.
I think where you start is just like identifying that pattern.
100%.
And then maybe you don't actually work on that or change it for a bit. But like, I think if you're consistently like, I'm not doing anything and I'm starting to feel like a fucking loser because I feel like I should be doing something and I'm not. And just maybe like, I don't know. I talk to myself a lot on a regular day, but I've been doing a lot of out loud.
I love that.
Speaking lately because I'm like, I just feel like it brings my attention to things a little bit more than
normal.
Like it normally would. But yeah, I don't know. That all goes to say that I guess if there's a thing or you have a thing, there's no right way for you to process that thing, but like the only thing I can say is to try your best and take back the power or control that you've given this thing to let it influence every aspect of or emotion that you have during your day.
And to that same point, give yourself a little bit of grace to allow yourself to process or feel, whether that's a day, 2 days, a week, whatever it is. You don't necessarily right away have to be like, I want my power back.
Yeah,
like, it's
like
okay
bad
to...
bitches cry too.
Yeah.
Bad bitches need to take a second or a day and have a couch rot. Like, bad bitches sometimes feel unsure of themselves and their future and everything else as well.
And one bad bitch is different from another bad bitch.
Yeah,
like, we're not all the same. And I think that that's huge because we do get a lot of opinions. You're listening to 2 opinions right now. But there's no timeline of how you process things. There's no timeline for when you take your power back. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot of people that are like, don't sulk. And yeah, you can sulk too much and get down to like a severe depression. And we're not saying allow yourself to get there, but like, I think like we all got to give ourselves a little bit of grace that like we're doing enough. We're doing just fine, and like it's okay to feel bad.
Yeah, sulk and process.
Yeah.
I think if you're sulking over the same situation that you keep putting yourself in, that's an entirely different story because
that's a whole other episode.
That's a whole other story. But like, yeah. So, anyways, my friend who's also having some mental health struggles, she was like, so I think I'm gonna start reading books about like Buddhism and maybe shave my head and become a Buddhist. And I was like, yeah, pop off, queen. And then she was like, I think you should read this book with me. It's not a Buddhist book, but this is, I'm going to read this book. I ordered it. It was supposed to get here today and it didn't. I'm just on a, my little self-help journey that I'm on. Anyways, it's called the places that scare you. And it's a guide. It says a guide to fearlessness in difficult times. So like it says this book offers simple, practical advice for living with less fear, less anxiety, more open heart, and shows how to awaken our basic goodness and connect to others.
I love that.
So that's what I'm gonna do. Is I'm gonna have a little self-help book club with me and my one friend.
Honestly, I love that.
And
I think that's beautiful.
If you want to borrow it when I'm done,
I will read it when you're done. I will read it when you're done. Well, another positive note is 11/11 is coming up, which is
the supermoon was last week.
The supermoon was last week, but
the super full moon got me all fucked up. Also, Mercury is in retrograde again, FYI, and she's retrograding in what is it, Sag? So it's all relationships and communication stuff right now. So if you have weird communication with your partner, or like something is like you're not seeing eye to eye in your relationship,
blame it on Mercury retrograde.
Definitely blame it on that. But also like, just like be aware, I guess. Well, and then you're not, anything that has to do with communications is going to be bad. So like,
don't communicate.
Messages. So stop all communication for the next 30 days. No, like you got to double check your emails and your confirmations and your calendars.
Is that why I've been
all of your stuff? Yeah, probably.
Oh, crazy.
When did it start?
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's when it started.
Okay, but 11/11 is good. 11/11 is an energetic gateway that's opened on 11/11. And so you're supposed to like be connected, like deeper connected to your higher self.
Yeah. Okay, great. Now's the time.
It's a big day to like manifest. It's a big day to like get into your like spirituality, like your spiritual self. I know Gabby Bernstein is doing like a big 11/11, like at 11/11, like manifestation thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know a lot about the spirits, but like...
Well, I mean, give it a try. You know what? Okay, listen. So I will tell you. Remember how I told you that like on the... What is it? The new moon or something. I think it's the new moon. That I do that exercise that's like you write down a journal entry from... What's the date? It's something... There's a certain date you're supposed to do it on. It's gone. It's past. You guys can get to it next year. It's too late now. But...
Sucks for us.
Sucks for the rest of you because the time has passed. But you write down a journal entry like as if you're living your perfect life. So like it's a year from now.
Yes.
Okay, I've done that exercise twice. 2 times, let me tell you. And both times, the things that I have put down on that paper that I did not have, I now have or had in life.
Yeah.
So like I don't really know. And I think I'm in this weird spot where I'm like searching for what my spirituality thing is. Like, am I just looking to be ruled by the planets in the universe, or like, should I be seeking something else? Like, I'm in a weird spirituality thing right now. So I'm open to...
I think it's just a good day to like write down, like releasing what you don't need, bringing in what you want. Like, there's a lot of, I mean, honestly, just Google like 11/11 manifestation, like 11/11 manifesting opportunities, examples, whatever. And just like, whether it's journaling, whether it's a meditation, whatever, I think it's just a good day to like bring in the new and release the shit you don't need. Like, ones are a powerful number.
And if you do it and nothing comes of it, there was no harm, no foul.
Yeah, like write down your intentions, burn some shit you don't need. I love burning paper, like writing down stuff.
And lighting it on fire.
So yeah, I worked with Jack Gould on like her thing, and it was writing down, like you literally wrote to someone. You wrote a letter to someone that like you were harboring like resentment for, and you wrote a note. You like wrote out everything that like fuck you, I hate you, whatever it was. And then over the sink, you burned the piece of paper. It was like so releasing.
Yeah.
Because I wrote down everything I would want to say to that person and then literally burnt it.
Yeah, and then it's not energy wasted.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
Do you feel healed?
I like witchy shit.
Same. I'm just kidding.
Healed? I don't know. I mean, I don't know that I was feeling unhealed. I just,
Yeah.
I feel better than I did yesterday and the day before. So that's
great.
Progress.
What's on your agenda?
It might just be you. Look, you have to stay around the whole rest of my life now.
I'm sleeping here.
My very good friend Ashley, who used to live here and then she went home, she's coming on Thursday to hang.
What are we doing?
Which is just honestly, she was like, listen, I'm not looking to really do anything besides giggle. And I was like, great. So probably nothing crazy. It's Tomas's birthday on Sunday.
Tomas, happy birthday to you.
So the clinic sent out a text today with his hour. Like, they sent out a text on every Monday, like, Dr. Kinney is here Monday through Thursday and Saturday and blah, 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 blah. And then it was like, and his birthday is, and he was like, they told everybody in the text about my birth. And like, I just really don't think that's necessary. Nobody ran it by me. I was like, okay,
happy
birthday. Damage.
Now
settle
the
down.
whole world knows it's his birthday.
Everybody that goes to the Dr. West Loop now knows that it's your birthday on Sunday. But yeah, so it's his birthday on Sunday, but there's also a Bills game. So, but also
What would he rather do than watch the Bills?
I don't even know that I want to watch the Bills on Sunday after yesterday's performance. So there's that. But anyways, we'll see what he wants to. Right now I have a reservation at the Bills bar, but we'll see what he wants to do.
Party.
Yeah, not really.
No.
How about yourself?
Honestly, a lot, but nothing. Wednesday night, Sam Gitlin and I, if you want to join, we're going to, there's an event at We the People that's like, what's it called? I'm like totally, my brain, like I have brain fart right now, but it's like not swords. I'll show you later, but we're going to that event on Wednesday.
You know what I really want to get to, and I keep saying this and I keep just like not doing it, is her like corrective class.
Same, but she did one on Sunday, and I teach on Sundays for the month of November. So, and then the 20th, we have a guest.
Yes.
So we can't go to that one either.
Damn.
I know. Sam had another date. She will.
Jeez.
She will.
Yeah.
But that's about it. I'm teaching this weekend, and that's honestly, I'm trying to I'm canceling some plans.
Nice.
So I don't have a lot of plans. We're going to actually Crying Tiger.
Oh, I've heard good things.
Same.
I've heard good things.
Going there on Friday.
That's a vibe.
Yeah. I'm a vibe. I'm a whole vibe.
Yeah. Without question.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in again to our mild therapy session here. I hope it helped you as much as it helped
very
me.
healing to release a little bit. And just to chat about how we don't always have to have it all together. And we say, I think it's interesting because the title of our podcast is Girl, Everything's Fine. But in reality, we're kind of proving that, nothing's fucking fine ever.
Ever. Yeah. Just when you think you've got it all up to par.
Life likes to be like, fuck no.
Yeah, something's and that's the thing. This is the last thing I'm going to say about it, because I am such a, I can always, everything happens for a reason, right?
Yes.
I'm that person. And initially, I had a really hard time understanding what the reason would be for this set of circumstances. But you know what? Bigger and better. That's what I
agree.
Bigger and better.
Something bigger and something better.
Yes. That's what I've settled on, which sounds so fucking cliche and lame. But anyways, that's how I'm coping.
It's true.
So leave me alone.
Yes.
Alrighty, well,
Happy
as you
day.
know,
We'll leave
as
you
we
with
like to say,
our beautiful saying of girl.
Because really me saying it out loud is just for me this time. Everything's
fine.
Good day.
Hi.